Social media interactions become interesting only when it is two-way. You must get a fair chance to interact with the person you follow or the person whose videos you watch. I have started this new initiative, Ask Milestones to Wealth Anything, AMA in short, through which all of you can stay in touch, ask me questions you like to ask, clear your doubts on personal finance, learn more about Milestones to Wealth and about our PMS products, and stay connected. So, this brings us closer. I am able to be closer to you, to help you in whatever way I can. You feel closer by asking whatever you wish to, and we grow together, helping each other along the way. So fill in this form and stay connected through Ask Milestones to Wealth Anything. I'm going to talk to you on the topic giving and taking advice. Advice is always a very sensitive subject. First, it has to be between people who understand each other. Both the person giving and the person receiving must have a basic understanding of each other. Second, trust is an essential. Both the person receiving the advice and the person giving the advice must focus on trust and always maintain it. When they do that, then their engagement becomes more meaningful and it flows, it doesn't get stuck. While we have had an advisory framework, we have had advisory regulation, and advice is today structured, we still have a long way to go on the softer side of advice. I say this because I have been an advisor for a long period of time, and my experiences have taught me a few things. First, most people receiving advice tend to compare the advice they give with the advice their peers receive, or with what is generic public advice. Now, if you are receiving generic public advice from your advisor, then it's very easy to compare with the advice that is being given on television or in webinars or on YouTube or on Twitter or from your regular contact or somebody else with whom you are in touch with. But if the advice is ahead of time, then when you receive the advice, there is certainly going to be a sense of uneasiness, because your advisor is telling you something, but nobody else is talking about it. This is not new. When we discover stocks first and we talk about it with our peers, they also tend to have the same response. So, experienced investors tend to first go into doubt, and then when others start talking about it, they also start accepting it. This is what happens with those who are experts. So, somebody who is not having the time to grow his expertise, who is professionally busy in other vocations, will have this all the more. So, the first thing you need to do is understand what sort of an advisor you are working with. Is your advisor somebody who is going to give you what the market is selling or the market is popularizing, or is he going to be ahead of the market? If your advisor is ahead of the market, then you must focus on the logic and rationale of his advice and how you should manage that advice. I mean, how you should manage that decision which is part of the advice. Because the decision eventually in an advisory relationship is yours, and the advisor is telling you what's good for you. So, when he says what's good for you, you have to understand how you will manage it, and you have to understand who you are taking advice from. Now, to the advisor's side, it's not as if only the advised have responsibilities. Advisors also have responsibilities. The responsibility of an advisor is to first educate whoever he is giving advice to what sort of investment approach he has, how he views investment opportunities and whether he is an advisor who stays ahead of the market or who runs with the market or who actually follows the market. There are three types. Now, the advisor should tell his prospect or his client that this is how I work, and he should not say it once, he should say it constantly. So, when you say it constantly, it tends to get into the mindset of the person. Now, the advised, the person receiving the advice, will gradually learn who he is working with, and it is the responsibility of the person giving the advice and the person receiving the advice to ensure this understanding is first in place and it grows over time. I have seen that many investors who took advice from me, once they understood what is the philosophy with which we work, stopped questioning and only took the explanations we gave. What I meant is, when you say that this is good for you, they will try to understand why. They will not question, why are you telling this to me, or why should I do this? It will not be a aggressive defense or something which is running contra to your view. The tendency of people who don't understand is to go here. So they will keep on fighting decisions and they will keep on fighting advice. Now, this serves nobody's cause, because by the time the person who is aggressive comes around, the opportunity would have moved. You will pay a significant premium to participate in the same decision. That is not a good thing for the advisor or for the person who receives the advice. So, understanding is something which is very critical in an advisor relationship, and it has to be maintained throughout. There is one area which I want to flag where this understanding often goes lacking, and that is when the risk management takes over completely. When does it take over? It takes over when valuations are very high or when valuations are very low. When the valuations are very high, the advisor will have to move his client to a more normalized place. He has to bring his risk levels down and he has to manage it in a way in which the client will not be affected in the case of an event. Now, to the other extreme, when you see valuations very low, then the advisor should be able to move the client from that safe place to take a few risks. If there is trust, if there is understanding, if there is a lot of investment in that relationship, then both these things will happen normally. And more importantly, when the market moves from that place of super optimism to super pessimism, both the advisor and the advised will wait patiently and not rush into decisions. They will take their decisions after careful analysis, good exchange of views and complete understanding. Both will be on the same page through this journey. If somebody manages to do this, then the relationship will benefit the advised and the advisor, and it will be long lasting. It will be something which will be precious to both and valuable and deeply respected. This in essence is how I have experienced advice in my stint as a registered investment advisor. Today my colleagues do the same thing, and this is what I try to teach them regularly, to develop that sense of empathy, of clarity and trust. Thank you for watching this video. Do stay the course with us. Thank you.